Hi, and welcome back to another episode of AdTastic. Today we're visiting with Jeff Graham, President and CMO of CACTUS. Welcome, Jeff.
Thanks so much, Tony. I appreciate being here today.
Now, we were talking earlier about the origins of CACTUS, and it goes way back, and I was surprised to hear this, that an agency, planted a stake in the ground when you did. But tell us a little about your backstory.
Yeah, so I am president of an agency called Cactus. We're in Denver, Colorado, and we started in June of 1990. We were founded by Joe Conrad, who quit his job at the ripe old age of 26 and got together with a couple of partners to form an agency dedicated to serving brands, causes, nonprofits, foundations, governmental organizations that do good in the world, that help people thrive in their lives, that somehow make the world a better place to live, work, and play. So that was the founding mission of the agency in 1990, which probably coming out of the go-go 80s seemed like a pretty insane business plan for an agency. Like, why would you do that? Today, of course, everybody's talking about purpose and has some sort of purpose practice or discipline within their agency. But I think probably back then it seemed pretty crazy. But it's been the North Star of the agency for 32 years now, and it still drives the decisions we make today about the client partnerships that we're going to engage in, and as CMO, the new business that we're going to pursue as a shop.
So you guys are about 30 years ahead of your time, which is unbelievable. And tell us a couple, we like to talk about success stories on AdTastic, things that you've done for a client that really paid off in their business results. And purpose-driven just doesn't have to be heartfelt. It could have some
Yeah.
business results as well, right?
Right. Absolutely. I think probably the most powerful example of what this agency does related to purpose, and in particular, changing consumer behavior is a campaign that we've been embarked on for 10 years now, called mantherapy.org. And it started about 11, 12 years ago from a brief from the state of Colorado. Suicides among working age men were just rising at an alarming rate. And they wanted an agency to help them with a public service campaign to reverse that trend and get men thinking about taking care of their mental health. So like so many agencies across the country that get those kinds of briefs from their state, wherever they're from, we launched into that, and we not only brought them an ad campaign that I think is remarkable just when you think of the time 10 years ago that nobody was talking about mental health the way we are post-COVID, very openly talking about mental health is just part of our health. But 10 years ago, nobody was really talking about it. And men especially were not talking about their feelings and getting in touch with their mental health. So we knew we had to do something very different to connect with those guys, and that meant talking to guys the way they talk to each other. So if you take a look at that website, which is, you can visit it today, mantherapy.org, you'll see that it uses a fictitious therapist, Dr. Rich Mahogany, who's kind of a mashup of Ron Burgundy and Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec, just sort of a manly man, bacon eating, beer drinking, guy that you'd watch football with, but who also happens to be a trained clinician and takes you through a series of evidence-based interventions to get a handle on areas that you might need to pay attention to your own mental health, to get upstream and make sure that we're connecting men with the resources they need well in advance of a moment of crisis. Because that's what we found in our research, is that once men are already in a moment of crisis, it's too late. They've probably already decided that it's too much. They've made a plan for what they're going to do. And unfortunately, when they made a plan for how to take their own lives, they're usually almost 100% effective, as opposed to other populations that might try suicide and say wake up in a hospital, or might be in an overdose situation. Men typically
Right.
use a firearm, and it's fatal and always effective. So we needed to get upstream with a very different campaign and humor, actually doing commercials that are funny
Mm-hmm.
about guys actually paying attention to their feelings and mental health, and then providing them with a website filled with all sorts of evidence-based, clinician-driven interventions and resources to help men, uh, manage those moments of crisis in their lives and get the help that they need.
Well, that's a powerful example, Jeff. Thank you. And thanks for being with us today. I think that point in particular is especially important since COVID. So thanks for joining us.
Absolutely happy to be here today. Thanks, Tony.
Mhm. And thank you for joining us on this episode of AdTastic. You could find out more about Jeff Graham at dailyadbrief.com. See you next time.
Simplify presents Addressable CTV, combining the power of TV with the targeting and attribution of digital. Simplify's Addressable CTV delivers massive reach with the ability to scale without sacrificing precision. TV buyers can generate incremental reach with household level targeting, frequency controls, reporting, and insights. To learn more about Simplify's Addressable CTV and what it can do for your clients, visit simply.fi.